We're going from $0 in revenue to $4 million in revenue in 365 days. In 2023, we quit real estate and we fired our entire team. But in 2024, we're going all in on real estate and we're going to build this thing back up the right way. In today's episode, we're going to expose you to how we're going from startup phase to being able to grow our company to $4 million in under 1 year. And for us, one thing that I like about starting over that most people, I guess, fail to remember or fail to forget is you already know how to do it. So for us, we know what it takes to get to 4 million. And then for us, even better, we know what we did wrong and we know what we did right. In this episode, we're going to break down why we had to start over. We're also going to help you guys understand our plan on how we're going to go from $0 to $4 million plus. We're also going to help you guys understand how this will be our cash flow business. And most importantly, if you're afraid to start over, this episode is for you. Welcome to another edition of the Expose and Expand podcast show. I'm the man with the plan, Jeremy Mathis. I'm Joshua. I'm going to give you the game, Mathis, and welcome to another edition of the Expose and Expand podcast show, where we expose you to the ideas, the strategies, the struggles, the failures, the people, and the experiences that have gotten us from zero to millions. In 2022, our real estate investment firm did $4 million in revenue. We sourced and found all of those deals ourselves along with our team. In 2023, we fired 85% of our staff on March 6th because we knew that that wasn't the team that was going to take us to the next level, and primarily because Josh and Jerm had to become much better leaders. Even though we didn't have a team and we rarely focused on real estate in 2023, we were still able to do $1.3 million in revenue because we sourced and found those deals through social media and relationships. In 2024, we have a focused effort on rebuilding our real estate investment firm from startup to $4 million in less than 1 year. But this time it's going to be way different. In today's episode, we're going to expose you to how we're going from startup phase to being able to grow our company to $4 million in under 1 year. After watching today's episode, any fear that you have in your life or in your business of starting over, we're going to remove that for you. Your boy's finna help you out today. Let's get right into this episode. This is going to be a fun journey. And for us, one thing that I like about starting over that most people, I guess, fail to remember or fail to forget is you already know how to do it. Yeah. So for us, we know what it takes to get to 4 million. Yeah. And then for us, even better, we know what we did wrong and we know what we did right. So this time around, we know what mistakes not to make. So this journey is going to be one that's going to be fun and exciting. And this is one that we'll be able to tell a story. You're absolutely right when you say that we already know what to do. A lot of people, they are afraid to start over, but they don't realize you already went through that. It took us 4.5 years to grow the company to $4 million in revenue. We made all the mistakes. We know what to do. So I'm sure people who listen to the intro are like, how y'all gonna go from startup to $4 million in less than a year when it took y'all all that time before? But we already know what to do and what not to do. So it's definitely gonna be a fun year for us in 2024. And I'm definitely excited to share how we're gonna get there in this episode. Facts. And then too, like for me, one thing that I'm happy about, like I said, is the stories that we will be able to tell and share on our podcast, right? Of telling people of how we went from essentially start up to $4 million in 1 year. People struggle from start up to 6 figures, and we're going to start up and get to 4 million plus. And to be honest, I think we're going to do way more than 4 million with just the plan that we have and how things have already started for us. Yeah. So I want to help the audience understand what went wrong and why we felt like we needed to start over. So in your opinion, what do you think we went wrong and why we had to fire everybody and start over? I think number one, it's just on us as leaders. We have to take accountability as leaders, and everything that went wrong starts from the top, right? If things are not going right, it starts from the top. We had lack of accountability. We had a poor culture, and all of that stems from us as leaders. So I think that was the number one thing that went wrong. We wasn't the leaders that we needed to be. And we talked about that in the previous episode as well. When you say poor culture, what does that mean? And lack of accountability? Not holding our team accountable. We're not having metrics. We had, we knew what KPIs we wanted to hit. We knew that we had the scorecards, but it wasn't upholding that standard. It wasn't making sure that our team was doing what they supposed to do. That's number one. Number two, us as leaders, we were all over the place, right? We wasn't holding them people accountable. They were supposed to give you an example. Our sales guys, let's just say they're supposed to make 100 calls a week and they only make 40. Instead of us reprimanding them and holding them accountable, it was, oh, okay, it'll get better. You'll do better next week. And that continued over and over and over again.
Yeah, so now definitely, I think another, like I said in the intro, that was, I think, the primary focus. The primary reason why we needed to start over. The team wasn't good because we wasn't good leaders. We didn't set them up for success. Another reason why I believe that we needed to start over and something that we needed to do different was, like you said, we had mediocre tracking. We knew what our KPIs were, but we were mediocre at best at tracking those KPIs. We set the expectations to hit them, but then when they wasn't hit, there was no that we didn't reprimand anybody. We wasn't doing what we needed to do. We would track them sometimes when revenue would get low, but then when revenue's good, we would coast along like, hey, we making money, so we don't need to dig into the numbers. We don't really know the numbers. But as we had to reset after March 6th and we started to really reflect on what went wrong and we started to grow another business, we started to realize if you really know your numbers, if you know them inside out, you're able to make great decisions that will be able to help you grow by leaps and bounds. The reason why we didn't grow leaps and bounds in the real estate investing firm was because we knew what the metrics were that we were supposed to hit. We knew what we were supposed to track, but we tracked it only when things were going bad, not when things were going good. So when things got crazy, it put us in a real bad spot.
Facts. Another thing too, I know of what we went wrong, guys, is just lack of focus. Yeah. You and I, we were all over the place. And guys, you've heard us talk about that on previous episodes. And for us, it was just shiny object syndrome. We were taking money out of the business and putting it into other ventures that, one, we had no control over, instead of reinvesting that money back into the business. And then two, if we're not focused on something, it won't grow. So one of the things that we knew before, but now we live by, what you focus on grows. And we've seen that now that we've been locked in and we've been focused the past couple of months of what happened and what you can produce when you're focused.
When Josh said we had lack of focus, and on one of the episodes, it talked about how 7 streams of income is the biggest lie that's told. Yeah. We fed into that, every millionaire needs 7 streams of income. You gotta go, if you have one income, you're close to broke. You need to be spreading yourself way too thin, and all the other BS that you hear on social media from these fake gurus that don't really know what they're talking about. And we fell into that trap. Mm-hmm. And because we fell into that trap, we put our main business that was producing most of the cash for us, our real estate investment firm, we put it in the chokehold. We strangled that business because every time we had any free cash, we took it out, we put it into something else. And guys, we talked about it in multiple episodes where we said, you don't need to take money out of your cash flow business and put it into an investment that you don't control. You don't need to be chasing 7 streams of income. And that was something that we did, because not only when you're chasing 7 streams of income, not only are you affecting your income in your main business, but you're also losing focus. And that was part of our lack of focus, because we're trying to focus on these other investments when we should be training our team, when we should be focusing on growing our team. But we wasn't doing none of that. We was not focused at all. And that was a huge reason why the business started to go sideways and why we needed to start over.
Guys, let me make it clear. Eventually, you want to get to focusing on 7 streams of income. But our belief system now is you need to be making millions even before you start looking left or right. Right? And I'm not even talking about 6 figures. In my opinion, I think you need a few millions before you start looking left and right. You need a business that's operating without you before you look left or right. For us, we wasn't there yet. Like, we were millionaires on paper, but we didn't have millions in the bank liquid, and we didn't have the team that we needed to have in order for us to start focusing on those 7 streams of income. Guys, we do believe, yes, you need to diversify, but there's a time and a place for when you need to diversify, and we was not at that point when we started to try to diversify.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification. So we said the reason why we needed to start over, or what went wrong, and why we wanted to start over, was we had bad leadership on our part. We had mediocre tracking. We had lack of focus. Is there anything else that you can think of as to what went wrong and why we need to start over?
And I guess that ties into lack of focus. I was going to say is just the wrong people having our ear, right? The wrong people having our ear, making us think or making us believe that we needed those multiple streams of income. So, I mean, you could say that essentially ties into lack of focus.
Yeah, got you. So those are three things. We went over three things, guys, that made things go wrong the first time around. And I want to talk about what are we going to do different this time as far as when we start restarting, and how are we going to go from startup to 4 million in less than a year. And the first thing that we're going to do this time around is we're splitting up leadership. You're asking yourself, what does that mean? What that means is, for the longest, Josh and I, we've always been partners in every business that we've gotten into. Not only were we partners, but we were co-CEOs. We started to realize that it's two of us. If we divide and conquer, we can do way more and be able to grow this thing much faster, as opposed to both of us being involved in everything together. So now what we're doing is we're dividing and we're conquering. And this is Jerm talking. I'm 100% responsible for the real estate investment firm, from getting it to start up back to $4 million plus and growing it to a well-oiled machine. The reason why we made that decision, outside of realizing that it didn't take both of us to grow this company, is that now if things go wrong, it's because 100% solely on Jerm. If things go right, it's 100% solely on Jerm. Now, I don't have Josh to lean back on and say, well, Josh, you didn't do this. Well, Josh, it's your fault. It's 100% on me to grow this thing. And if it doesn't grow, then we can only look at one person. Before, when it's both of us, it's really no accountability. There is some, but it's not extreme accountability, which is what I believe that you need to go to the next level. So that's something that I'm very excited about, as far as us splitting up, and Josh focusing on another company that we have, and I'm focusing 100% on the real estate investment firm.
No, I think that was a big shift for us, right? Because like you said, one is just it allows us to be able to create clear accountability, but then two, it allows us to operate freely and openly, right? As opposed to making a decision and thinking like, well, damn, I think what I think Jeremy gonna think about this, or what I think Josh gonna think about. Jeremy's in control. He'll have my feedback on things. You know, if I feel a certain way or strong about something, then I'll say something, but Jeremy's in control. All the decisions go through Jeremy when it comes to our real estate investing company, whether we're going to buy a deal or wholesale a deal, whether we're going to fix it or flip it, who we going to hire, who we going to fire. That is 100% on Jerm. And it allows you that autonomy and that to be able to just to operate freely. And yeah.
That came because when we let everybody go, we had a couple months to really just sit and ponder. And in that pondering, we start realizing what could we do differently to grow this thing. And we start realizing, like, it don't take both of us. And this became even more evident when we made the decision to go our separate ways. Again, guys, we're still partners, but we're just not co-CEOs anymore. It became evident when Josh started to this new company, and we saw the progress that we had in it, because it was solely on him. Because of that, his ideas are flowing. He had the ideas that he had were much better. The focus that he had was much better, and everything became better now that he doesn't have somebody he can fall back on. And the same goes for me as well.
One thing that you said, and a point that I want to make, is that you said we had a few months to sit and ponder. And guys, we were talking about in this episode starting over. And sometimes when you start over, it allows you to sit down and ponder and think. And one thing that we've both implemented through our business coach is think time. And that's one thing that when you are starting over, be thankful for that. Be thankful that you can think. And even as you're growing your business, you still want to ensure that you have those moments where you can sit back and think and figure out what's working, what's not working, what you need to change, what you need to add, who you need to hire, so on and so forth. Because as I think back, all the years we've been in business, we've never had time to really think. It's just running. So there's power in running, but there's also power in sometimes stopping, thinking, reassessing, and reanalyzing as well.
That's good. Another thing that I'm doing differently the second time around, if you're watching on YouTube, you're able to see this. If you're listening, you can't see my shirt. I wore this shirt specifically for today. It's an army fatigue shirt, and one thing that I'm doing differently this time is wartime leadership. And one of our mentors, he helped us understand this because he went through some things in his life and he had to go into wartime leadership, and he helped us understand this concept. And when we had the first time around in the real estate investment firm, we led with consensus, meaning everybody had input, and we made the decision based off what everybody believed was the right decision, as opposed to us being the leader and saying, yeah, I'm going to take y'all input, but the final decision is on me. This time, I'm still going to take input, but I'm going to make the decision based off what my gut and my experience tells me to do. And that's what wartime leadership is. So if you listening, make sure you come check my fresh shirt out on YouTube so you can see how fresh your boy is and understand wartime leadership.
You pull that out your closet and say, I'm going to kill him with this one, huh?
I had to. They had to see how fresh your boy was in the Army.
The Forever 21 special, y'all. The Forever 21 special.
Take it easy now. No, it's really an homage, really to Master P, somebody I look up to in business. Yeah. No limit soldier. Because I understand if we do this the right way, there's no limits to where we can go in growth. So it was an homage outside of to wartime leadership to Master P and No Limit Soldiers, for real.
Another thing that I want to tell people that we're doing differently is just extreme focus. And I want to emphasize that, guys, extreme focus. We're not looking left, we're not looking right. The only thing that Jerm is doing, the only thing he's focusing on is our real estate investing business. The only thing that I'm doing, the only thing that I'm focusing on is our education business. We're not looking left, we're not looking right. I don't care if it's $1 billion idea that comes our way. We are locked in and we are focused, right? Because we understand the power of focus. And then also, we're not taking any money out of our businesses. We want to leave that money in our business and allow and reinvest that into the business, whether that's building up infrastructure, whether that's adding new team members, whether that's hiring or changing and going to a new office. Because before, we've always taken cash out of our business to make these outside investments or to do things that have never given us the return that we thought we should get. So for us, man, we are locked in and we're focused.
No, you talk about that we need to make that an episode, just all the bad investments we've made that hasn't produced any return, because we've always taken money out of the company and put it in things that never gave us a return.
You say this all the time. We've taken out almost $800,000 plus out of our cash flowing business and put it into things that.
Yeah, guys, we just came up.
Moment of silence for all those dead investments.
Guys, that's another topic that's coming up. We're gonna talk about how we lost close to $800,000 over the last 2 years in different investments. Another thing that we're gonna do different this time around is we're gonna have better systems and processes in place. When we had the company before, we had always made money from day one. And sometimes when you jump off the porch and you have success right out the gate, you miss those weaknesses that you have, and you start to overlook them. And one of the biggest weaknesses that we had was we didn't have systems and processes. We didn't have the tracking and we didn't have the proper tracking in place. And Michael Jordan, coach, said this: when you have a system, you allow talent to shine. When you have a proper system, you allow the talent to shine. So yes, in the intro, I said we didn't have the right team that we needed to grow, but part of that was we didn't give them the proper systems and tools that they needed to shine, to be able to reach their full potential. So now we are investing in a proper infrastructure. We're spending a couple $1,000s, more than a couple actually, to build out the right systems, to come in and hire consultants that's going to build out the system so that when we hire new team members, they come into something that allows them to shine, allows them to put their best feet forward, and allows them to hit the metrics that we're setting from them. This is something that I'm probably most excited about, because if you heard us talk about it, we always said systems and processes, and the reason why we always said that is because we learned what not to do in our real estate investment firm. And this is something, again, I'm very excited about this.
Me as well, too, because it allows us to build a business that's bigger than us. Right now, you and I, we are assets to the business. But Marcus, one of our good buddies, he's always says you want to build a business to where you become a liability in your business. And in order to do that is you need the right systems and processes to make that happen. Because if you have the systems and processes, you know what's going on in your business. I don't have to call you and say, hey, Jerm, where are we on this file? Hey, Lori, where are we on this file? The system lets us know exactly what's going on. Hey, Lori, how much have we spent on the renovation so far on this property? As opposed to me having to call you guys and bother you, the system's going to tell us all of that. So for me, that's one thing that I'm excited about. Another thing that we're going to do differently is hiring, the hiring and the onboarding, right? So we're going to start offering benefits so that we can attract top talent. Because before, your boys didn't understand that, benefits are important and attract that top talent. So just through us, like Jerm said, we sat back and we start pondering, we start asking the right people the right questions, and we know that it's going to require us to bring in A+ talent for us to get to what we're trying to get to. And in order to attract A+ talent, we need to have some benefits as well, so that we can attract these people and retain these people.
So Josh said one of the things that we're doing is better hiring and better onboarding. The reason why we didn't have good hiring and good onboarding and we never had benefit was our lack of exposure to it. The whole premise of this show is that exposure leads to expansion. Once you know something, you can't unknow it. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. We've never worked a W-2 job. Well, in college we did, but it was little play jobs that didn't offer benefits. Because we had never worked a real W-2 job that offered benefits, we didn't understand the importance of it because we wasn't exposed to it. We didn't understand the importance of having benefits for our employees. And every time we hired people, they would always ask us, do you guys offer benefits? And we said no. And those people would still come on. So we thought that, we're still able to attract people to the company without having benefits. So we don't need it. As we started to ponder last year and we had more time to reflect, we had more time to reach out to people and talk about our struggles, we were exposed. We were exposed to offering benefits to people so that you can attract that great talent. So guys, the name of this show is Expose and Expand, because once you expose to something, you will expand. Now because we've been exposed to that, we're able to attract better talent because we've been exposed to benefits. Another thing that we're going to do differently this time around for the employees is that we're going to offer growth plans for them. We're going to offer growth plans. What that means is when they come into the organization, they're going to see from day one. Right now, this is where you are. This is where you are right now within the organization. You're at the bottom. In order to work your way up, this is what you have to do. These are the metrics that you have to hit. This is what we expect for you if you want to put yourself in a position to become one of the leaders of the organization. The leader of the organization. That is something else that I'm also excited about, because when you give somebody a clear vision, a clear goal, they know what they're working towards. They're able and more willing to put the extra hours in. They're more willing to come to you with ideas because they see they have the opportunity and the potential to grow. So every position that we have built out growth plans. So as soon as you come in, they can see the opportunities that we have within the organization.
No, that's good. That's really good. And again, these are things that I'm super excited about. So now that we know what we're going to do differently, I want to talk about the plan that we have and break that down for people. And then also, too, I think another thing, guys, that we're doing differently is taking planning more seriously. Yeah. Like before, it was just always fly by night. We planned, but it was just mediocre at best. Now we are taking planning seriously. So we're taking our yearly, quarterly, monthly, and weekly plannings very, very seriously, and we're holding each other accountable to the plan that we set. So now we want to break down and we want to talk about what our plan is
to grow to $4 million in 1 year. Because I know you guys are still asking yourself, like, how did it go from zero revenue at the beginning of the year right now? Because when this episode released, it'll either be the last week of January, the first week of February. You guys are probably wondering, like, how are you going to go from zero to $4 million? And I want to break that down. But before we even break that down, the reason why we're taking planning more seriously is because, again, now that we are not co-CEOs anymore, when you put a plan in place, you have to have metrics to hit that plan. Now Josh can hold me accountable to this plan and to these metrics that we've set, that we know that this is how we're going to grow. So this is something, again, it's something else that I'm extremely happy that we did, because in our weekly meetings that we have with each other to go over what he's doing and to go over what I'm doing, all we're doing is tracking a plan that we've set, something that we've never done before. Yeah. So the first thing of the plan is we only, instead of focusing primarily on the year, we're focusing on the quarter. And we're breaking things down by quarter, and we have quarterly rocks, quarterly goals, and every single week in our meeting, we're asking each other, where are we on this goal? Where are we on this goal? Where are we on this goal? And in this quarter, we have a couple of things that we want to get done and accomplish. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to hire 5 people. Out of those 5 people, 3 of those people are going to do sales. So we know how to generate the leads, but now we need people to take those leads and convert them into sales. So we're going to hire 3 people to that's going to do sales. We're going to hire another person that's going to do what we call dispositions, because the way that the real estate investment firm is set up, so you guys have more contacts, is we do what is called wholesaling across the country. So we do wholesaling across the country. We buy fix and flips and rentals throughout the state of Florida. When we do wholesaling across the country, we need somebody who's going to sell those deals. And that's what dispositions is going to do. And then the 5th person that we're going to hire is a project manager. We've made a strong, conscientious effort to do way more flipping this year than we've ever done in the past, meaning more fix and flips. So because we're going to do more fix and flips, we know that in order to better allocate our time, we need somebody that can manage that. So we're going to hire a project manager. So again, we're going to make 5 hires, 3 in sales, 1 in dispositions, and 1 project manager. Yeah. That's the first thing we're going to do. The next part of our plan for the first quarter is we're going to obtain a new office. You may ask yourself, why do we need a new office? The office that we have now is where we've been since we've started our entrepreneurial journey, 12 years ago when we graduated college. We've been in the same office, and we sublease space from a company. So where we are at now, this company, they have their company in it, and we have our company in it as well. Again, when we had time to sit and reflect, we started to realize part of why we had a bad culture, outside of us being not the best leaders and not building a culture by design, but building it by default, was this company that we are subleasing from. Our employees see their employees come in late. So what do our employees do? They come in late. Our employees see their employees give bare minimum effort. What happens with our employees? So we believe that because of that, that was one of the detriments and the downfalls to why our employees wasn't who we needed them to be. They were seeing this other company that we're renting space from not living at a standard as to what we need it to be. So now we're going to go out and we're going to get a new office, and we're going to build out a great culture.
Yeah, and that's the key too, right? Where we can go out and create our own culture. Right now, it's hard to create a culture in someone else's space. Essentially, what we're doing is coming into someone else's home and just saying, "Hey, man, I want to move in as well." But it's hard for you to maneuver in someone else's home, and that's what we're trying to do. That's what we've been trying to do as when we sat back and reflect. But now it's different. We're going to go out and get our own home, and we're going to create the culture. We're going to create the environment that we want within our own space. So, yeah.
So another part of our plan for the quarter is we are going to buy way more flips this quarter. Right now, we're shooting this halfway through the month of January. We've already acquired $4 million worth of real estate. And before the quarter is over, we probably would have, if not double that, triple that, meaning we would have purchased $12 million worth of real estate within this first quarter. We're being very conscious of what's happening in the market. If you want to have a great business, you got to know what's going on in the market. And interest rates are starting to go down. Inventory is still low. So we believe that since interest rates are going down, we are in election year. And if you read the data, elections year are always good for the economy. We believe this year is going to be no different. So we want to get ahead of the curve, and we want to buy a lot of real estate at the beginning of the year. A part of buying a lot of real estate is we have to go out and raise more capital. So the last part of our plan for Q1 is raising more capital from our investors. Josh has been on a tear, me and him both, but him more so than I. We've been on a tear, raising money, reaching out to people, presenting opportunities to become our to join our investment group or to give us more capital. So again, guys, just to recap, our plan for Q1 is, number 1, we're hiring 5 people. Number 2, we're going to go out and get a new office. Number 3, we're buying a lot more flips this entire year, but we're definitely starting the year off strong. And then the last thing that we're doing and the last focus that we have is raising more capital for this quarter.
Hey, check it. If y'all are accredited investors, holla at your boys now. Holla at your boys.
Yeah,
you know, like I said, we raising money, and for me personally, man, I'm excited for the plan that Jeremy set for the business. I know that it is something that he can bring to fruition, but then too, just as he mentioned, it's important, guys, when you're in business, you got to understand the market, you got to understand the data, and from the data, we know that this is a year where we need to be doing more flips. The data just speaks for that.
Agreed. So we have plans and things that we want to do in the future quarters in Q2, Q3, and Q4, but again, what we're doing differently this time is, as opposed to focusing on the entire year, we're going quarter by quarter. So that's why we're not breaking down quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4 for the rest of this year. We're focusing on 12 weeks at a time. And every single week we meet, where are we on our 12-week plan? And then at the end of this quarter, we're going to plan for Q2 and so forth and so on. So that is our plan to gain momentum so that we can steamroll our way and grow to $4 million this year. Another thing that we're going to do, and we're going to focus on this later in the year, is right now, this is going to be huge for us. Right now, we only have one marketing channel, which is pay-per-click, which is online advertising. Two marketing channels, pay-per-click and pay-per-lead. So we generate our own leads, and we hire a company to generate our leads online. In quarter 2, our plan is to add 2 marketing channels, one being direct mail, another one being a unique form of cold calling. And we're very excited about that because I know some of you guys are asking, like, dang, how are they going to only get to $4 million in revenue with that plan? But the biggest thing that we're going to do is in Q2 is add more marketing channels so we can generate more leads and close more deals. So that is part of the plan to getting us from startup all the way to $4 million. Now, the last thing that we want to talk about is the outcome of all of this.
So the outcome that we want is, number one.
When you say outcome, help them give more context behind that.
So the outcome of from zero to startup and building this thing back up is right. The outcome of what we expect. So if we do everything that we set, what should the result be? What should the outcome be? So that's what I'm referring to. And number one, we want to build a cash flow business, a real cash flow business. Right? Because our real estate investment biz, we truly believe that every entrepreneur, every business owner, you need a cash flow business where there's a business where you can just spit off cash. And as we mentioned earlier, as we grow and we scale, eventually we do want to start investing into other opportunities, but you need something that's going to supplement you, that's going to supplement your lifestyle. So this is going to be our cash flow business where we each can easily take home $30,000, $40,000 a month, and that could just sustain us and take care of us. So that's the first thing that we want to get done, is just create that cash flow business. And then this is more so a business, and we want to create a business by design, not by default. Because the business that we had before, it was just by default. Right now, we're creating a business by design.
Yes. So everybody, Josh made a great point. If you're an entrepreneur, you need a business that can spit off cash, that's going to protect you and your family, that's going to be able to help you provide for your family, and then that's going to put you in a position to go out and to make the investments that you want to make. So that's the outcome of us starting this business over again. And the last outcome that we want from starting this over the right way is we do everything that we need to do this year. Our plan is to hire a COO before the year's out that can come in and replace me and start running the day-to-day so that I can go out and start doing other things that Josh and I want to do, which is buying more and bigger real estate deal, which is possibly going out and buying another company. Yes, we're not trying to get ahead of ourselves. We have set that as a plan for the future, but that is part of the outcome as to what we want for this real estate investment firm. Is, again, hire a COO that can take over the day-to-day after I've built this up the right way.
So guys, by the end of 2024, we're gonna shoot an episode, and you guys will look back on this episode and you'll be able to hear how we went from zero to be honest, guys, the trajectory we're on now, we're going to do way more than 4 million. I know we will, but we've done the 4 million. That's the number that we've set. So at the end of this year, you guys will hear how we got from zero to 8 million.
Yeah, definitely. Y'all continue to tap in, because in that episode that we're going to do at the end, we're going to talk about the hurdles we had to overcome, things that happened throughout this year, and everything and from A to Z. So make sure y'all continue to tap in. As always, we have our gentleman's agreement. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, and let us know what we could do better. If you're listening on a podcast player like Apple or Spotify, hit that follow button, leave us a 5-star review, and also leave us a comment. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like, and what we could do better. And again, guys, as always, expose somebody to this show and all the other shows that we've done, because again, exposure leads to expansion. Peace.
Expose and expand. Peace.